And you can use this to define what will be the animation front and backward and right and left. And repeat the process, but now to the other corner. Now, using the control and the mouse, you can see how the character, please tell me this isn't something almost magical. And I want to connect this to the result of the output animation. Looking good, move left, now it's looking good, right, and of course backwards. What if a single value could drive all your movement animations forward, backward, left, and right? In this video, we are taking the movement offset yaw we calculated in the previous episode and using it to fully control our character animations through a Blendspace. Just one parameter. Clean logic, a smooth directional movement that makes sense. This is the Game Creator Accelerator channel, and I am Tony Munoz. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and ring the bell so you do not miss future Unreal Engine tutorials plus real strategies to build a successful path into the gaming industry. Now, this video is part of a larger project. We are building a full game called Mad Gameverse, step by step and in public. All the code and steps are available for free right here on the channel. Check the link in the description for the full access and details. And don't forget to take my free training at woolen.com where I walk you through the real methodology and strategies for building a sustainable path in game development. Learning to code is only half of the journey, and in this training I explained the other half, the part most talented developers overlook, and why missing it is the reason they struggle to succeed in the industry. Now, let's get back to Unreal. In the last episode, this is how we finish, by calculating the movement offset yaw that you can see on the top left. Now we're going to start using this value to control other types of animations. And for that, the first thing we're going to create is a new Blendspace animation. So let's go inside our games, characters, main character, rate, animations, and select the animation folder. Inside, right-click, select Animation, and Blendspace. Our skeleton character is Wraith Skeleton. Let's name this animation Running Blendspace and open it. In the Blendspace, you have a coordinate to handle the vertical and the horizontal axis. And you can use this to define what will be the animation front and backward and right and left. To the left, you have a parameter that is called the axis settings. Open at this moment the horizontal axis. And for the name, let's change it to offset yaw. And as you remember from the previous episode, the offset yaw can come from -180, which is the minimum value, to 180. You will find the link to the previous episode where I explain in detail how we made the calculation of the offset yaw. But in simple words, what you have to remember is that when we are moving forward, I mean the direction of the camera, this is 0. But when we are moving backwards, while the camera looking forward, then it is 180 or -180. And once you set the values of minimum and maximum, you can see in the offset yaw, which is this parameter we define, the values from -180 to 180. And when the value is 0, we want our character to yaw forward. At this moment, among our animations, we have the yaw forward animation. For these animations, I always added at the end GB, which is for me the game version. But at this moment, I don't have the backward animation. At least not at this moment for the game version. So let's find it. BWD is usually started with jog BWD. Here it is. And I want to create a copy of this for my game version. So right click, select browse to asset. Here you have it. And I'm going to make a copy of this one to my animations folder. Make a copy, go to animation folders, and let's rename it. Rename jog backwards GV. Now let's go back to the Blendspace. And I also want to bring an animation to running right and to running left, or to jogging right and jogging left. So let's look for jog right and repeat the process. Right click, browse to asset, and once we have it here, drag it to animations and copy here. And the left as well. So jog left, the animation right-click, Browse to Asset, drag the animation to Animations, and copy here. Let's go back to Animations, and let's rename the last two that we added. The jog left with a terminal GV, and the jog right with a terminal GV. You might be asking why I created these copies of animation. Well, because I always like to keep the original in case that I need to make some changes and I screwed up some things. If I'm going to make changes to the animations, I will use my copy. But I always keep the original in case that I need to go backwards. Click on the Run in Blendspace, and now let's add our animations. Let's filter by GV. The first animation I'm going to place is the jog forward. As I mentioned a moment ago, that will be when the degrees are 0. Click on the jog forward GV, drag it inside the space of the blend space, and then use Shift to snap it to a specific position. In this case, you can see that it is the 0, 0. Perfect. Now let's go to the backward animation. I need the backward animation in case that we reach to 180 through the way of minus. So we can say minus 90 and minus 180, or 180 and 90 and 180. So let's select now the backward animation, drag it, and keep it the Shift key, release it here, where it says minus 80. And repeat the process, but now to the other corner, where it is 180. Keeping the Control key down and moving the mouse, you can see that as you move to the 180, the character changes the animation to moving backwards. But as soon as you start moving to the 0, then you start moving forward. Now let's add the ones that are related to the right or left, if the character is going to move to the right or to the left. If we change our directions to 90, we will be running to the right. So click the jog right GV, drag it inside the space for the namespace and Blendspace animation, using the Shift, release it on 90. And now for the left, drag it inside the space, keeping the Shift, and release it on minus 90. Now using the Control and the mouse, you can see how the character can be moving from front to the left until it reaches totally minus 190, moving backwards, or he comes from the front to the right until you reach 180. Please tell me this isn't something almost magical. Once you finish here, click Save, and we have the first step for our Blendspace animation ready. Now let's go back to our map, and now we need to change the blueprint animation because at this moment we are calling only the animation, the front animation, or this one which is the jog forward animation. Now I want to change that and call the Blendspace. Let's pause for a moment. If you're watching this, it is probably because you're feeling a real tension right now. You have a job, you have responsibilities, and at the same time, you want to break into the gaming industry, not by endlessly following tutorials, but by actually transforming into an independent game developer with your own independent studio. You do not want to waste time. You want every step you take to move you closer to the real outcomes, finishing projects, finishing games, building something that is truly yours. But most people quickly realize something. Technical skills alone are not enough. You also need to know how to present your progress, how to share what you're building, and how to create a community that grows with you. The problem is you do not have infinite time. You do not have infinite money, and trying to figure all of this out alone usually leads to frustration and stalled progress. What you actually need is a clear method, a method that creates visible transformation early, and that gives you a system to keep building from there with guidance, feedback, accountability, and experience checking your progress week after week. That is exactly what the Game Creator Accelerator Mentorship is. If this resonates with you, visit Woolen.com to learn more about the program. Take my free training and set a time to chat with me directly. We will look at where you are right now, what you want to achieve, and I'll give you my best recommendations to move forward. Remember, it is Woolen.com and the link is in the description. Now let's continue. Open the RAID folder, and this is where we originally saved this animation blueprint. Open the shooter rate animation blueprint. And in this animation, let's go to the cache ground locomotion. Open the locomotion movement. And now go to the state of run. This is where we set the only animation that we'll use when running. But now we want to change this jog forward animation for the blend space we just created, which is called running blend space. Drag it inside this state. And remember that we have two parameters that were here for the horizontal and the vertical axis. And you can see that we name it offset yaw for the horizontal axis. This is the one we have here, the offset yaw. And I want to connect this to the result of the output animation. And now I can remove this jog forward. Let's compile and save for a second. Now, this is not working yet because the only value that we have for the offset yaw is 0,0. But now we can go back to our code. Let's open the player anim instance. In the header for the player anim instance, you can go to the bottom. And let's remember that in the previous episode, we set this value, which is the movement offset yaw. And it's visible anywhere and blueprint read only. That means that I can have access to this value inside my blueprint. So back in our animation blueprint, let's set the value of this offset yaw that will control the animation using the offset that we are getting from C++. Right-click inside this state and look for movement offset yaw. Here we have it, get movement offset yaw. And now we connect this one to the offset yaw. By this way, we're communicating from C++ this value of movement offset yaw to the running blend space, which based on the value of this offset, it will define what is the kind of animation that we're going to run, and then we'll present that animation when the character is running. Compile and save. Now let's click on map, and it is the moment of the test. Okay, let's run forward. Looking good, right. Looking good, left, 2, and backwards. Perfect. But the problem I have now is you can notice a jittering. This sometimes happens related to how sometimes Unreal changes the values of the blueprint of the shooter base character blueprint. So in Raid, let's open the shooter character base blueprint. And in fact, let me present it to you. Let's go to the shooter oasis and open the shooter character. And remember that in the shooter character, we have this B-orient rotation to movement false. And also the control rotation yaw is the only true. Well, let's check these values. Let's start with the use controller rotation. The only one that has to be true is the yaw. Go to the shooter character. And the only one which is correct is the yaw. The other parameter is orient rotation to movement. Let's remove this one. And here is the reason of our problem. This should be false. This should be unchecked. Compile. You can see here that we define it as false. And sometimes Unreal changes these values. So let's go back to map and test it. Move forward. Looking good. Move left. Now it's looking good. Right. And of course backwards. Beautiful. No jittering. Now the other situation we have is, let's say that we start from totally stop and then move to the left. You see that first it executes some animation like moving forward and then turn left and turn right. This is something that we are going to fix in the next lesson. At this point, you've seen how the movement offset yaw ties everything together and how a single value can drive forward, backward, and strafing animations clearly through a blend space. In the next video, we'll fine-tune the animation so that starting to move in any direction looks smooth and natural. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and ring the bell so you do not miss the next videos in this series, where we continue refining movement, animations, and gameplay systems inside Unreal Engine. Don't forget to visit Woolon.com to learn more about the Game Creator Accelerator Mentorship. and set a time to chat with me one-on-one. The link is in the description. And I want to invite you to watch my full free training, where we'll start breaking down how to approach the gaming industry step by step. No hypes, no shortcuts, just a clear process to build skills, visibility, and real opportunities over time. Until next time, keep creating, keep sharing, and most importantly, keep dreaming big. I'll see you soon, my fellow creators.